Alright, this is Mercury and Aquarius. So this is a person who thinks, right? He or she knows how to communicate with just about anyone. Like, they could talk to anybody if they wanted to. And have, really, they could have a conversation with just about anyone. It depends on the individual, of course, but they enjoy conversation, but they enjoy talking to people about ideas they have, and maybe, they like to experiment with people too, social experimenters. But this is the thing about Mercury and Aquarius. This is the exaltation point of Mercury. So this is one of the best Mercury placements you can have. People understand you when you speak. When you're thinking outside of the box. This person likes to think outside the box. Whereas, people give them this information. They'll take that information and still have questions and be like, okay, well, I understand all this is here and you give me this and that, right? But, they have extra questions. And questioning things, it does make you a smart person, because where another person's just going to accept that as it is, you're going to try and think of a way to, figure something out. You're a good problem solver if you have this Mercury side. But overthinking can also be a negative thing too. But even then, you're a person who likes to communicate with people. So the more you communicate, you don't want to keep anything inside. That's where negative thoughts start to creep in. So if you're a person who likes to talk like this person does, or you want to talk to somebody, you shouldn't hold back. You should just get that idea out to somebody. I was thinking this today. Or if you have friends and shit, and you're thinking about them and their well-being, I heard that they were doing this, I want to, get them some information that I know, in not doing that, you're going to hurt yourself, because it's just in you to do that for people. I need to, let you know this because I know this, and I want you to know what I know. Maybe it can help you get somewhere. I don't mind, sharing that information to you. But then you go about your day. And like I said earlier too, these people are social experimenters. They like to, I like to say these people like to play games with people's minds a little bit. They can let you know they're smart, without even really being any kind of, they don't have to use the big, definition words necessarily. They don't. They some do more than others. The ones who have probably Aquarius and then Sun and then Aquarius, Mercury. But then these other people, they don't have to do that. See, they'll think of ways to, get people involved with what they're doing, have a good network behind them. And through that, that's how they, grow in life and, become successful, because their mind is unique as well. So they, use that to their advantage. Where other people, like I said, will take it, at face value. They're going to question it and be like, why do we have this? But sometimes, you don't have to do that for some things, Some things you don't have to think so. Sometimes you don't have to, do that, But these people, are, people who question things when everybody else won't. And that's a good thing to have, as if there were never people like that, people wouldn't be so, what we are right now. You know, we wouldn't have technology. We wouldn't have certain things as humans. Like, all humans drive cars. You know, why were we driving cars? You know, who had the idea to be like, well, driving cars and shit? You know, we were riding on horse and buggies, but somebody had an idea to do that, and then it became a thing for all humans. You know, like, you should have a car. You know, I don't, but, you know, most people, you know, on the planet have them, because somebody a long time ago who had like a Mercury placement like this said, you know, let me think outside the box real quick and say, you know, other people are like, well, it's horse and buggies, man. There's no, man. We can be more efficient. We can create roads. Like, they saw a plan in their head. They saw, I don't know. They're forward thinking too. These people are, you know. And there's like people under like Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces who have this Mercury placement. As Mercury likes to stay next to the sun sign, so those are the people who have this Mercury placement. But if you got this placement, you're definitely cooling on the corner. You'll be alright, for sure. There's nothing that, you know, if you get boxed in, you're gonna think outside the box. You'll be alright.